Dumelang. This is Aunty Magogo, and this is the video for class 4, MyAltar. This is the 4th class of our 7 classes for the free course, for the free self-love course. If you haven't gone through the rest of the classes, being class 1, 2, and 3, go to our YouTube channel, Aunty Magogo, and just catch up on the videos that are already uploaded with regards to this course or anything else that you might find interesting. Subscribe and hit the notification button, and then you'll be able to get notified as soon as I post anything new. Let's let the ghetto bird pass. Okay, so our last class was my womb, and yes, I've been getting questions and people saying they're ready for the next class, and I appreciate all of the feedback and all the responses I've been receiving from people checking out the videos, be it on TikTok or on our YouTube. I really appreciate that. And yes, we will be sharing our new business contacts very soon, hopefully by the end of this week. However, let me start off by saying I'm very grateful for your time in taking these classes seriously, and I appreciate your dedication to your own self-work. It actually pushes me to work better and on myself for my work and my own personal growth. So I appreciate each and every one of you who are taking the time to to save, to share these videos. So let's get into it. Class 4, MyAltar. So definition. An altar is a table used for communion in Christian churches. So remember, we look up the definitions first so that we get a better understanding of what it is we're talking about or what this class is actually leading towards. So the dictionary definition is, its first definition is a table used for communion in Christian churches. I underline communion for a reason. And then number 2, a raised structure on which sacrifices are offered and religious rites are performed. Now the meaning for communion, taken from the word commune, meaning feeling very close to. It's like people saying I live in a commune. They live in a house, then they're sharing the house. So that goes without saying, you are sharing everything. So it is a very close relationship to have. Communion, sharing of thoughts and feelings, shared belief or practice. So that's the one that resonated with me better. Communion, sharing of thoughts and feelings. So the scripture for today, as I've already shared recently on TikTok, is Genesis 22 verse 9. And they came to the place which Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham built a slaughter place and placed the wood. I use my Hebrew Bible for this one. So it's Genesis 22 verse 9. And they came to the place which Elohim had commanded him, and Abraham built a slaughter place and placed the wood. So altar, in translation, Msamo and Ndumba are two different things. Ndumba is a whole other flight, whole other airport. So Msamo ke altar, where you sleep, your thoughts, your prayers, where you rest your thoughts, your prayers, your requests, your gratitudes, your thanksgiving. This is where you do your things. So I am stuck to the meaning of communion, which is sharing of thoughts or feelings, because the altar, that's where you actually do go and share your thoughts and feelings. It's a place where you're supposed to go and do that. That's an altar. That's where, anywhere you go to pray is where you are sharing your thoughts and your feelings. So that's what an altar is. Ke msamo. Msamo ke mo o rapellang teng. Msamo ke mo o nehelang teng. So I also looked further with the word commune. You can hear it sounds like communicate. So to communicate means to make known or share information, thoughts, or feelings. Going back to the altar, even in a church where there's an altar, that's where we go and pray, right? That's where we share our thoughts, even though there might be a priest standing in front of us. But if you go there, it's between you and God. It's between you and whichever spirit or saint, whatever religion that you're in. And it's not, again, just about religion. It's whatever you believe. So even if it's more a traditional spiritual thing where you're just sitting and meditating, that is an altar. That space that you're choosing to do that in, it's an altar. So community is a group with shared origins or interests. Community. So where you go to pray, you're also speaking to whatever spirit is with you. Whether wapahla or muto who says you don't do the traditional stuff, right? Because they are with you, whether you like it or not, they are within your bloodline. So in spirit, they are there with you. Even when you are praying, you are speaking to your ancestors. If you're a Christian, your ancestor then would be Jesus, because that's your mediation between you and the higher power, the higher creator. And it's someone, a being that has existed in this life. So he was once flesh and he's no longer flesh. So that community, those people that you are speaking to thank them, to ask for things, to go and get things for you to the higher power, are your community. So altar kimsamo. It is not a ndumba. Ndumba is something that is given or people set up that type of initiation, depending on the type of initiation that they go through. Because the other thing that we need to understand, there are other levels and realms of initiation within South Africa, because in nations, in origin, we are a big nation. We are what's the word? We are a medley. Yes, we are a medley of culture and of religion, of tradition. So whatever, so and then they have to come back and build a space, or even in your house where it's a space where it's a certain room where you do it's a sacred space for your prayer. It is not that high of a level, because that is you needing the proper guidance to get into. Ndumba, going back to Ndumba. So definition, an altar is a table used for communion in Christian churches. My definition, communion or commune, feeling very close to, sharing of thoughts or feelings, shared belief or practice. And the scripture being Genesis 22 verse 9, and they came to the place which Elohim had commanded him. And Abraham built a slaughter place and placed the wood. This is the Old Testament of the Bible. Now let's get into it. Lesson of our fourth class being MyAltar. So to answer the question, what is an altar? This is a sacred space in your home that you have selected for your prayers, offerings, meditation, and celebrations. That is what an altar is. An altar, I'll repeat just to give guideline and framework of today's lesson. An altar is the sacred space in your home that you have selected for your prayers, offerings, meditations, and celebrations. These are my own words. This is my own definition of the word altar, or what an altar means to me. So with an altar, sometimes, you can have a dream of yourself sitting in a particular way, in a particular setup. If you're getting visions or whatever, if you are shown, or if you have the urge that you need to set up a certain thing, a certain corner, a certain space in the house for you to just pray, or even it can start with you just being shown to just set up a corner with maybe plants. You can start with that. Even that is an altar, a space where you just choose a specific space in your house where it's just your plant. That's an altar. It's an altar because there's energy in that too. It's a living thing. Even better if there are plants there, because it's a living energy. You're feeding off of it. It's feeding off of yours too. That's why you need to be careful when you interact with your plants and how you interact with your plants. You need to be cognitive of your own emotions, your own mental state when going to offer yourself to this energy and being this plant or these plants that you might have. So an altar is a space that will be permanent until otherwise. So wherever you're staying, it's going to be there. If you already have one, there's nothing wrong with changing it around too. That's another thing I've learned. But learning feng shui and all of that, but changing it around your house, just sprinkling, to zhuzh it up a bit, just to rejuvenate things. Also depending on the season that you're personally in. So it'll be a permanent space unless otherwise, meaning unless you are moving. So wherever you are staying, wherever you are living, and there are notes to the living space, I'll mention them later. You can place anything that relates to your spirituality or your journey of knowing self. It can be sentimental things that you place there that you feel, this reminds me of this. This means that. You can place anything that relates to your spirituality. And spirituality might be something for you to just check definition of, so that you understand where I'm coming from and what I mean. Spirituality can also mean, that is also spirituality, I believe. Having Christian belief, that's also spirituality. Religion is also a system of belief. Spirituality is a system of belief too. So it's all the same in my eyes. So remember, make this space about you. Make it about you. Make it about you. Anything and everything that you want there, make it about you. Don't guys are copy and paste because you've seen, I don't know. Even better if you grew up having an elder who had msamo. So obviously you'll know the basics of what to have there, right? So if you have that visual, you can start it off from there, but you know what you will be minusing and you know what you are adding for your own msamo, So keep it personal. Don't copy whatever you saw consult once upon a time and you want to have, it's lemon, and you want to have that type of vibe going on for your own personal space. Don't do that. That is not a wise thing to do. Just keep it real, keep it authentic, keep it unique. And also, don't be looking at people's altars unless they've on their social medias and TV shows and stuff. But don't, even if your friend is one of those people that has, don't pay too much attention to what they have at their altar. Just mind your own business. Consult. Don't too much. Just be there. Just feel the energy of the space. If you feel safe, then carry on with the consultation. If you don't, then just stop it and go about your business. So an altar is where you pray. It is where you consult. Consultation. It is where you consult. That's an altar. That is your altar, where you are consulting. So definition of the word consult is to go to for advice or information. To go to for advice or information. Advice makes sense because that's you saying, okay, God, I don't know how to deal with this issue. Please give me the wisdom, give me the guidance to deal with it. Right? That's guidance. Information is you something along the terms of God, give me direction. Bagolo, that's you asking for information. That's you waiting for them to give you this information on where to go or how to go about things. And again, this does not include or exclude religion or tradition. It doesn't separate them. It doesn't separate any of this. So even this whole class, whether you are religious or not, these are basic tips and lifestyle, self love, should I say, guidelines, on things that you can do in your daily life and for the rest of your life, while navigating. An altar is a tool of communication between you and the foundation of existence. I don't think I need to explain that one because we are talking prayer here. We are talking tapping into self, right? If you know God, you know you are God too, right? So you are tapping into self. These are conversations you are having with yourself. Instead of you grabbing your phone and calling someone, hey friend, I'm having this and this. Friend, Adisa, wherever it's not supposed to go. But your altar is you speaking to yourself. You're checking yourself. You're speaking to your creator. You're speaking to the guides that are with you. You're speaking to your spirits. I fit the more. I fit the more. The information that comes, the direction that you're asking for comes as introspect and retrospect. So it's all still about you. It's you learning how to not do certain things and how to do certain things to get where you're trying to go. An altar is a representation of you. Hence, I mentioned making it personal. Make it about you. If when you're about flowers and you want your altar to have flowers, be that person. If you want it to, whatever. Make it authentic, make it unique. An altar is a doorway to what we need and what we want from our purpose and life journey. Oh, wow. Hey, my own words shock me sometimes, but I'll read that again. An altar is a doorway to what we need and what we want from our purpose and life journey. No pressure. Mentioning purpose is not you figuring yourself out. Purpose is just knowing that what you are living for. You are living for truth. If you are living for truth, then you won't entertain the opposite of that, for example. So, what we want from our purpose and life journey. So it's a doorway for you to have a safe space, basically. It's a safe space for you to ask for things. It's a safe space for you to show gratitude for things, so that's the doorway. That's what we mean. So purpose, no pressure in that use of the word purpose. Please don't take it too far. It's your first go-to place for questions, validations, and for gifts. Now, for gifts, I mean, how we grew up with relatives, we are so quick to please other people before pleasing the people that brought us these things. So if we keep things personal, like if there's something you're celebrating, before start by celebrating with them. Buy whatever you feel needs to be there for celebration. It's going back to the last classes and the last rituals of gifting yourself first before gifting the rest of the world. Before gifting yourself, you are celebrating with your community, the people you've been praying to, the people you've been thanking for things, the people you've been working with on yourself. You are thanking the people that matter. It should start kunklung before the world sees it. All right. By the time the world knows that you're a millionaire, you should be halfway done with that money, investing it and using it how you want. by the time the world actually realizes, because you've been working underground with your people, with yourself more than anything. Gore ke se ka confuse dilo. I don't want to too deep, but I think the basic understanding, or the general understanding of it, is understanding that there's a higher being, there's a higher purpose to self. You are more than what you see in yourself. You are energy. So if we all understand that, I think we are all good. Now the rules. The rules. Msamo, that space, the altar, you set it up if you are living alone, if you still live in Kogeno, or if you are married. This is not something you set up if you are living with a boyfriend and nothing has been officiated. It's not something you do. Le boyfie. No. This is serious shit, because we set up a khamang. Something I learned from my grandfather. He was against boyfriends being at family functions, which made sense because he just said to me, okay, so if an elder, someone older than me, this is him speaking to me, and then Abu Zuguti, low ban, Sisotin Gibo. You can't see him konyana. So it's the same thing. Don't set it up where you are not official. So no fat and said things, no boyfriending things, no chagile it's Kogeno. If you're not living Kogeno, then set it up Kogeno. It must still be Kogeno. It cannot be raised by boyfriends or concubines' place. You need to officially leave the nest. Like, if what's this is why it's a rule that I'm mentioning. How guys when you're just walking out, but and even your guides, even your creator, because I mean, God did not make us for us to belong to our parents, right? Our parents are here just to guide us through his light, through his way of life, right? That's what they are here for, to teach us the morals of life, right? The laws of life. So that's what we are here for. So even in that same regard, God has left you in the safety of these people, right? So if you're moving forward in life, wouldn't it make sense for them to be the ones saying, hey, Lord, this is our child. She's moving forward with life. Please bless her wherever she's going. Going back to our scripture. And they came to the place which Elohim had commanded him. Remember, Abraham, he was told to go up to the mountain with his son and his wife because he had asks, he had requests of the Lord, like Mudimo Mpone, and Mudimo was like, okay, and they got there and he was commanded, no, do this, set this up, put wood here. This is where you are going to make your sacrifices. This is where you are going to ask. So as much as Abraham was the head of his household, there's still someone that he reports to, that he and his wife report to. So that's how it works with our parents too. They also report to a higher being, and higher beings, the foundation says it too. They have to be involved. So no matter what your dynamic is, dynamics are different. This is not a end all and be all. Like if it has to be this way, whoever mo khuletseng teng tshwantse o gantle, tshwantse o laele, tshwantse bless you. That's all I'm saying. Whether you grew up with a grandmother, an aunt, or a step parent, whatever, tshwantse o ntshiwe gantle. It needs to be announced. So if you are living between places, so if you are living with a boyfriend, right, and there's that type of circumstance, shit happens. You're living with your boyfriend, for example, you need to have some type of setup or some type of way of making that place your altar. If it means there's some type of disputes as well, it's not a place that you like going to. It's not a place where you can set your altar up and go every once in a while. But you must go every once in a while, at least twice a year. You going that is you acknowledging that place as your altar. It's your altar. It's part of your community. Like we must stop lying to ourselves. Yes, religion is thing. People have moved on in how they are now living their lives. Yes, things have changed over time, but the reality is we all have names, we all have surnames, we all have a lineage. So whether you are religious or not, your lineage is going to matter in your life at some point. So set it up at your family home and treat it that way. Be smart about it. Be wise about the thing that you're doing. Like, cover your tracks, make sure down the line you're not going to be in situations where your things are a mess and then you are told, when last did you go home? Or how are you living with this man? Did he marry you? So let's avoid like such things that hinder us big time in life. So your altar, so you need to apply these rules because your altar is ultimately your anchor to your well-being. It's your anchor to your well-being, because something like this, like you can be trying to live with someone or beside thing. I want to play because it's been a while communicate because maybe your religions or your beliefs are different, you and your partner, and it affects you. You won't be able to progress in life. That applies pressure to that relationship you're in now. Now this man has to father you, you are limited to having a voice too, because you are now depending on someone else. So it hinders a lot of things. So it's not worth that. It's not you going backwards. So be smart about how you go about things. You need to cover your tracks currently. The ways of life, the basic ways of life, because even in the Bible there are ways of life. There are ways of doing things. There are rules too. So every system of belief has rules, but they are all generally the same. They are all the same. We can try and fool each other. We can try and manipulate and disguise things and dye things different colors, but the reality is it is all the same thing. So apply to these rules. Let me just read them again. So rule number 1, if you're living alone, this is something that you only do altar, set it up if you're living alone or family home or you are married. Number 2, you cannot raise your msamo or your altar at a concubine or boyfriend's house. Number 3, you need to officially leave the nest, meaning otherwise set it up at your family home if you are not living there. And visit as often as you can to clean up your altar too. I'm going to go to the rituals. So I'm all about the cleaning, right? Okay, so this is why you need to apply these rules, because your altar is your anchor to your well-being. Well-being is even your health. So these things go hand in hand. So if your spirit, if your spirit, if the God in you is affected because you are not aligned, it affects your money. So if you don't have money, it causes you some sort of depression and frustration, which causes you illnesses, depression. You're not going to be well. Your health will be compromised. So certainty and earned participation is required. So don't do this if you are not going to be a permanent participant, meaning you need to remember you have such a space set up. It's you inviting people to your space. It's you inviting people to be with you and come and be your counsel and come and sit and be there for you, to come and listen. It's like going to a doctor and then the doctor asking you what's wrong and you just sit there and do nothing. Every day you go to your doctor and just sit there and do nothing. So certainty and earned participation is required. So if you're not ready for that, don't do it. Don't do it. Do not set up an altar. Just pick a space where whenever you want to pray, pick your things up and move on. Sort of like Islam faith, how they pray. Okay, let's set up. All I have is the mat. That mat that they carry, that's an altar. That is also an altar. That mat that they carry, altar. That's why it's respected, because your bed is your altar. No. You respect that thing. So it goes, respect your bed too. That's your altar. Actually, that's your altar. Your bed is your altar. So if that's the case, you're not ready or situation doesn't allow, as per the rules mentioned, do not set it up. Just pick a place for praying. And then if you're not living alone, or don't do it there. Go or just go to in nature and pasha there in nature. Go pasha in nature. Don't pasha at boyfriend or girlfriend's house. Please don't do that. All right, so now the last part. Our rituals. Ritual number 1. Place only what you want there. Place only what you want there. Things that relate to you, resonate. Don't put things that you saw other people putting at their altars and you just want to put it there. Don't do that. Number 2, keep it clean and keep it cleansed. Cleanliness. Remember, we are all about it. Clean, keep it clean or cleansed. Number 3, know when to make your offerings. Know when to show gratitude. Know when to show gratitude. Start having a pattern where you are feeling and you starting to, over time you start to understand how your altar communicates with you too. Over time you start to see, oh, all right, let me get this and put it there. Let me do this and do that. Over time, again, relating to what I pointed out in certainty and earned participation being a requirement. It's a requisite. Certainty and earned participation. Earned participation means nothing for mahala. Nothing but for mahala. And then I'll explain this and just touching on the basic things that you might need at your altar or in your altar. Number 4, know when to gift it. So it's all a relationship. Over time, you'll get to know. Guessing games, they'll get you into trouble. So don't just do things and just because you saw other people doing them. If you feel the urge to set up your altar, just set it up and wait to be guided, to have the gut feeling into what to add or what to do or how to treat your altar. Number 5, remember all 4 elements and represent them when doing your altar work. So every time you go to your altar work or do communion, it's like Holy Communion. There are certain things that are needed at church for the Holy Communion. And again, going back to the definition of the word communion, sharing of thoughts or feelings. So remember all 4 elements and represent them when doing all altar work or communication. Or should I say communion? So the 4 elements are fire, water, earth, and wind. So how is jwalo to connect, or something as basic as, in layman terms, if you are praying and you light your candle, you are putting light to whatever you are asking for, to not get too deep with it. So if I'm lighting a candle, that is what I am doing. You are igniting what it is. You are o kopa kganya mo ditabeng tse o tlo di ntshang mo kgang e tlo bang teng a kere mo dikgang tsa gago, gore ke mo ditabeng tsa gago o tlisa kganya mara o tlisa kganya mo ditabeng tsa gago. I'm getting a few more things that I need to share. And also another thing, it doesn't mean now that you have it, it's something that you go to every day. It doesn't have to be everyday work. The everyday work is you making sure your altar has everything that it needs. For example, the other element that needs to be there is water. You need to have clean water there. You need to have clean water. That's what you need every day too. Your body needs water on a daily basis. So if you are just making sure that that glass of water stays clean, you don't have every day or no, it's not something that's done every day, but no. Timing is everything. Prayer is something that you can do every day, because it's also something you can do in you just being up. In whatever you do, your daily tasks, you can be praying as you're doing them. You can be praying as you are cleaning. You can be praying as you are working. You can be praying as you are bathing. And NB, very important. This altar is for your eyes only, not just for anyone to see. It is for your eyes only, or even the people that you trust. Let's say people that you trust. If it's not people if you're having people that you don't even want to see your altar yomsamo in your house, what's the point of them being in your house? If you wouldn't trust that person to see or be at your sacred space like that, don't have them in your house. Don't have them in your house. Do not have them in your house. So, just to add on, your house is also, your home is your altar. So it's not a matter of you setting up an altar in your home. You setting up an altar in your already existing altar is you taking things to the next level, right? It's you making room to connect with yourself on a higher level. You surrendering to the realities of you existing outside of your flesh. Right. So if you're not going to set up this msamo or go as far as having an altar, good, it's fine. That's also okay. But recognize your house as an altar then. Recognize your house as an altar. And your altar, keep it clean, obviously. That's you keeping your altar in check, keeping it clean. So keep your altar clean by not having unwelcome energies inside your home. Don't just have anyone inside your home. Stop inviting just anyone to your home. Stop having just anyone in your home. Be selective of who you want in your altar. So that's class number 4. MyAltar, class number 4. Class number 5 coming very soon, because we are pressed for time. We are pressed for time. So very soon, maybe, let me not say, but very soon class number 5 is coming. We are continuing with the classes until we reach number 7. It's already set. I already have the notes for the next classes, so I am ready for you guys. We are moving forward. I'm so excited. This is going so well. I mean, I'm enjoying these classes. I'm enjoying the feedback. I am glad it's working for you guys. The feedback is just amazing. I'm glad it's working. Remember to be patient with yourself. Take it easy. I'll be back in August for the spiritual coaching sessions, 250 a session, meaning one session a month. But see you soon. This is Aunty Magogo out. Mwah.